question, you guys were doing like a 6x6 workstation. But that 6x6 workstation would have different options to it. So we made these part associations so you guys could really customize the way that you guys do a quote. And the reason why I want to go through that, and I'm going to go through that pretty heavy, is because we're going to be adding a quick quote or a quoting system onto the web portal. So what I'd like to see and what I'd like to show you and maybe give you some ideas on is how you guys can use the part association to really hone your estimating so that you don't have one person that everything funnels through. Because what happens when you have an estimator is, it all sounds good until your job is at the back of the line and it's all funneling through. So that funnel gets really small at the bottom. So as much as you guys can and be accurate, it's better for salespeople to do the quoting, right? So I want to try and show you some stuff that maybe you guys will come up with some ideas on how to use it that will allow you guys to do estimating without having to funnel through one person and have one person just slammed with stuff to do and you guys waiting around for stuff. So let me go and do this retake here. I realized that was already running. So while this is doing this, you guys have, let me actually preface this by saying, you guys, if you don't have our support line number, I can give it to you, I can email to you, Rick's got it. It's really important when you guys are first starting out that you all call in for support individually, because training's fine, training's good, but the thing is you're never going to learn e-manage just from training. You're going to learn by doing, and we're here to help you guys learn. So if you have any question in your head at all, or you're starting to get frustrated by something, use our support line. That's what it's for. We have English-speaking people, their first language, and they understand e-manage and they understand business. And if they don't, I'm right in the building, so they can come to me and ask me. And I think you'll see when you see some of these new features that I understand business. So do you guys have any?
What's that number, Philip?
It's 619-550-2725. Again, just like with an estimator, if you funnel everything through Rick's really busy, and then you're waiting. And by the time you get an answer back or whatever, it might be, you're already past it and you're frustrated already. And we don't want that. You're going to learn by doing. Just like I'm controlling this computer right now, this is what we do. So when you call in with a question, we hook up with you in a GoToMeeting, and we get you through it as many times as it takes for you to be an expert, which actually doesn't end up being that long. So it doesn't end up being like, I'm going to be calling for support for the rest of my life. That's not the truth. The truth is, a couple of weeks of really banging this out and calling when you have a question, because e-manage does a lot more than we could possibly train on. So it gives you lots of options. And we want you to understand those options, but you're not going to learn it on your own. And that's what support is for. Okay, so you guys all got that number?
Yes.
All right, good. Again, I really, really want to stress that. Everybody working on e-manage, that's the phone number, and you just call it. And there's nobody here going to make you feel stupid or anything like that. There's just somebody there to help you. Okay, and it's from 7 a.m. Pacific to 4 p.m. Pacific. So, okay, well, it's good. Take a bit.
So it's 10 to 7 our time?
Yes. Also, I want to show you guys one more thing. I know you guys are really busy and stuff, but we do have a YouTube channel where we have videos of a lot of our stuff. So I'm just going to take you there really quick. You guys might want to write down this address, but I find it really effective for people when when they watch it together as a company, like set aside an hour and watch a video and discuss it as it's going on. Because unlike right now, while I'm talking and talking and talking and talking, you can actually, and you can pause me. Okay? And you can't pause me right now. So you're just going to have to deal with it. But so there's videos on here. Some of them are long, some of them are short, but a lot of the stuff in here, like here's that associated parts. So what we're going to go through right now, we already made a video on. So I want to get specific with you guys because I have some ideas that I think might help. But on our YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/bbhandyman. Okay, and there's about, I think there's like 32 videos on here. So there's stuff about the bill of materials, there's stuff about creating grid layouts, how to save them, editable fields, all this stuff. So if you look here, there's quite a bit. Scheduling, human resources, all that stuff here, using pictures in your quotes. Okay. So like I said, some of these are pretty short. This one's 4 minutes and 11 seconds. If you really want to know, like from the order entry process on, this 2-hour and 14-minute one is really in depth, and we did it with a potential customer. Okay, one other place I want to point you, everything that we come out with in the release notes, every new release, we come out with, you mind if I just log in here real quick? I'm going to have to log in. All right. So this on Facebook, we have a page that we come out with graphical release notes. So pretty much everything that we come out with goes in here as pictures. Okay, so if you look up eManage 1, and if you like us, then you don't have to look us up anymore. But we have graphical representation of our release notes, so every new feature that comes out. Okay, so this one was just posted 52 minutes ago. So we do keep it up a lot. This is about foreign currency exchanges. This is adding named pictures and project gallery images. Okay, that's one thing we're going to go over today too. So, but anyway, all this stuff, you just click on the picture, and then it walks you through step by step, picture by picture, the steps that you go through to use the functionality. So you see step 1. Move to the next picture, there's step 2. Okay, so all of these things are here to help you, but in the beginning, especially, we really want you to just call and let us help you. Okay, any questions about that?
Nope.
All right, got the update. I'm going to go ahead and pop myself in here. And I'm recording this video too, so as soon as we're done, I will upload it and I'll get you guys a link so you can refer back there. And Rick, do you want to go ahead and log in for me? So let's just talk about when I first kind of, one second, I'm sorry. I just gotta, I've got to get you a view. I tested before I did it, but I explained the update. When I first got involved with you guys, I was under the impression that you guys were wanting to do something like a sorry, one second here, something like a pick a 6x6 workstation and have options to that. Is that kind of correct? Is that like what you guys were thinking you were going to do?
I think that would be more of a long-term thing. I think right now the associated parts, as we discussed the other day, would be more relative to trucks and crates and our standard pieces like that versus getting into right now the depth of a station typical.
Okay. All right, we're good to go.
But I think once we understand how associated parts would work, building that type of template would be fine.
So I'm going to go ahead and actually start there, and then I'm going to go through that, and then we're going to talk a little bit about creating purchase orders and why you guys are going to do it, and how that actually translates into your actual job cost. Okay. So I'm going to show off at least one of the at least one of the auto part or associated parts that we've already created. So I'm going to look up here crates, and all I want you guys to do is think about what's possible. Okay, what do we do that's together, or that we want to offer our customers while we're offering something else? Okay, so here's your crate, and I'm going to double click on that, and this has got a tab down here called Associated Parts. Okay, when I click on that, you can see that I've already associated 3 parts with this. Okay, so that when I add crates onto a quote or a bill of materials, and you guys might have noticed this if you guys have used crates lately, because we did this last week, that Dolly automatically adds to your bill of materials or your quick quote. Okay, so you can see here, it's auto add. Okay, and it also has the option of calculating. Either you can put in a quantity that you want, so if it's a quantity of 1 and it's always going to be 1, you can have it auto add at a quantity of 1. Otherwise, you can have it calculate from the cost of other parts, or from the list of other parts, or the weight of other parts, or the man hours of other parts, or the quantity of other parts. And this is a summed up value of quantity, okay, of other parts, and we'll talk about how to get calculated. Calculate from the customer price. I don't think you guys use cubes, but if you do, there's a spot for cubes on the part. Base quantity, and then we'll talk a little bit about that when I actually add this in. Then we have a factor. Okay, so if you look here, for every crate, for every 4 crates, I have $1. Okay, so that makes it a factor of 0.25. Okay, so that means for every 4, it's going to equal 1. So the factor is a multiplier. So it allows you to, so when you hit 8, it's going to automatically switch to 2 because we're multiplying it off the quantity of crates times 0.25. And then we've got to round to a whole number. And Scott, we had discussed rounding up. I'm researching how I can possibly do it to round up even if it's 0.1, but we'll get there. Okay. Right now it's just going to round to the whole number. Okay. All right. So when I click on this Dolly part here, you can see it calculates on the parts listed here, and it's going to calculate off of the crate. So when I put parts down here in the calculate on parts listed here, and this is a Dolly that's calculating off of the quantity of the crates. Okay. So, and then we added a couple of file bars here, and I thought, didn't we put description in one of these?
I think it's the second one that'll automatically calculate 2, and then the last one we left empty to type in your own number.
Right, and you can see, you guys, in here that this one calculates from the quantity, but I want you to also notice that it does not automatically add. Okay, so what's going to happen? What that actually means in English is that it's going to if you add any quantity to this part when it pops up, it's going to then calculate off of the quantity. Okay, calculate from the quantity of, and when I click on it, it'll tell me crates. Okay, this part is an option. Okay, so this file bar was what was the difference anyway?
The one you had to type in because I said I might have 100 crates, but only need file bars for 50.
All right,
so
so
we
this
made
was
it auto-calculate.
Right, this was the non-calculated one. Let's go ahead and put that in there because I don't really remember. I thought we had to put a description in. So what happens is you guys will see the description of the auto part or the associated part description so that you can know which one to pick. All right. So I'm actually just going to run through on a quick look and show you this one part work, and then we're going to go through it and talk about some other stuff that we can do with that. So I'm just going to minimize that, and I'm going to pull up a company here. Let's go from the existing project. And you guys will see that I move around pretty quickly not because I use eManage every day to do what you guys do, but because it's pretty simple. If you start to look at the interface as a collection of things that you already know. These labels, anywhere you see a label for a company, there's these buttons here. Okay? There's a plus if you want to change the end user. This is for either adding or finding a different end user. The minus is only available on things where the value is not required. So end user is required on the project. So the minus, you can't delete that. The I button opens up the company record. So if I click on that, it's going to open up Johnson Controls. And this is copy. So if I copy this, it'll copy all of this, and I can paste it into Word or wherever I want. So I'm going to click the I button here and open up the company. Okay, and I'm going to go to Actions, and I'm going to create a quick list. So depending on how you like to move around, you can get anywhere 100 different ways. But I like to do that if I'm just doing a test or I'm looking to do something with a company I've already been doing business. Okay, I'm not going to fill this stuff out yet. I'm going to actually just go straight down here, and I'm going to type in crate. Okay, going to pull it up here. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to hit Enter on my keyboard. And what's going to happen is it's not only added my crate, but it's also added my dolly. Okay? And it's brought up this associated parts thing here. I'm going to look at that description. I'm going to make myself a little note here. Where is description? That'll be in there by tomorrow. Okay, so what happens here is if I add this one, let's say I put in a quantity of 10 here, this file bar. It's actually going to add it, but you notice that my quantity actually went down to 2. And that's because it's calculating off of the quantity of crates. So that no matter what I add, this one adds, because it's calculating by itself, just the fact that I add it, adds it to the float or to the BLM, and recalculates itself to the correct value. This one we added to not calculate, so that we could put in whatever we wanted. It's the same part, but because it's not automatically calculating, I can put in whatever value I want, and that's going to add at the value that I did. Okay. Now, what's cool about this is that when I go and after I close out, I'm all done adding my part associations. I can go in and change my quantity. So let's say I've got 50 crates. When I change that, it recalculates everything else that calculates off of it. So you see, I've got 13 dollies. I've got 100 file bars. This one did not change because it was not an auto-calculated part. I just added it at 50. Okay? You guys can set this up to do anything you want to do. This can be, the part associations can go even deeper than one level. Okay, so let's just go back to the master part list, and I'm going to pull up the crates, and then I'm going to pull up, I'm going to go to associated parts, and I'm actually going to associate a part with the file bar. So just by double clicking on file bar here, that's going to open up my part in the new window. Okay, and I can go over to associated parts, and you see there's nothing associated with this right now. Okay. But I can go and associate. Is there anything associated with file bar?
Now the crates has a drop-off and a pickup.
The crates has a drop-off and pickup? Okay. Do we have drop-offs in here?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Actually, just for testing purposes and showing you guys how this works, I'm actually going to put drop-off in here. Okay. So we'll go back and get rid of it and actually put it on crates. But I want you guys to see what actually happens. Okay. So I'm going to put drop-off and pickup in here. Okay. And they're just going to be options. I'm not going to automatically add them. But if you wanted to automatically add them, you can check out the auto add. You can have it add at a specific quantity or calculate off of the sum of any of these based on what parts you list here. Okay. So for now, I'm just going to leave this here as an option. Okay. And I'm going to go back to my QuickBooks, and I'm going to delete all these parts. Now remember, what I did is I only associated the optional, the pickup and drop off, with one of those file bars. Okay? And it was the file bar that was automatically calculated. So I have to choose this one in order to get that the option to show up. So it really is very specific to that level. Okay? So actually, let me change my quantity here first. So if I know I'm going to have 30 crates, I can put that in first, hit enter. It'll take me over to my search, and I can type crates. And then I can click and hit enter. Okay, so that's going to open up my associated parts, and I'm going to add the first file bar. And it's going to put a quantity of 1 because it's going to auto-calculate itself anyway just by adding. When I do that, it now brings up my parts associated with file bar. And you see now I can add my pickup and drop off right there. Okay, when I'm done, I close the window. But these part associations, when you layer them like that, they're very specific. So I could add file bar just by going here. Just by going here, I could do file bar. Okay? And I can just add it by itself without being auto-calculated or without being anything. But once I associate it with a part, and I'm using the grid here for associated parts, it's going to react the way it's programmed to react. And you guys program it. So it's really unlimited what you guys can do with it. There's basically nothing that you can't do. Okay? So you see here that the file bar calculated out 60 because it's 2 per crate. Okay? If I try to change this quantity of 60 down to 10, it's going to recalculate back to 60 because that's what the system, that's what you told the system to do. Okay? If I wanted to put this in by itself, I need to get rid of this one and re-add it manually, which is why we put the 2 different file bars, one auto-calculating and one not, so you guys could decide that, hey, they don't need that many, they only need a certain section. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? How that works? Okay, so is pick up and drop off. Is that something that's on crates, and is it something that is automatically added?
Yes.
So it's always going to be picked up and dropped off. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these. I'm going to delete these, and I'm going to go back to my crates, and I'm going to actually add that into my crates. Okay. So you see this little search button here. I can just search right from here for whatever parts I want to add. So I'm going to do pick up. And you guys notice, I don't have to type the whole part number. Any part of that part number is going to go in there. Okay, so I'm going to do pick up and drop off. The point of this is, like I said, to make it much faster, much easier, and much more accurate for you guys to be able to do your own stuff. You don't want that bottleneck of having everything go through one person and not being able to do it yourself. Okay, is it a quantity of 1? Or is it going to calculate based on the number of crates?
It's usually a default of 75 for each one.
To drop off and a pickup? Is it one drop off and pickup?
Typically the way we do it.
So it's a quantity of 1.
Okay. And if you use, the one thing about this, auto add quantity, when you do that, that's not calculating. It's just going to automatically add at that value. So when these are automatically added at a quantity of 1, you can change the quantity because it's not set to automatically calculate. It's set to go in as a specific value. Okay, so let's watch that happen now. So I'm going to get rid of all these. And you guys know I'm just hitting my delete key on the keyboard to get rid of those. Okay, so I'm going to have 30 crates, and I'm going to do So you see now there's a pickup and a drop-off on there automatically, and my dollies are calculating by themselves. Now again, because those added automatically, I can, but they're not calculating. I can put in, oh, we've got 2 pickups and drop-offs. Okay, so I can change those right there, and they do stay changed. Okay, so it's pretty flexible. You can make this do anything you want. But the only thing you have to remember, like I said, is that if you do nested associations, which means that I've got associated parts that have associated parts that have associated parts, okay, that's going to be that can get kind of confusing. So because it's on a per part association basis that you're nesting. Okay, so let's actually go to back here, and I'm actually going to associate a part with this file bar again. Okay. So file bar, associated part, and let's just go ahead and do another drop-off here. We'll just do drop-off. Okay, maybe we don't go pick it up. So I'm going to take this and drag and drop it. Okay. So what's happening here is now, if I just put in that file bar, if I just put in file bar here, do another drop off. Okay, so you see that this actually, because it was associated with an associated part, it's not adding, oh, sorry, I didn't tell it to automatically add. It is coming up. I added, because the file bar was associated with drop-off, it brought up my associated part. Even though I didn't go through the whole crate process, I just added my file bars. So then I could add another drop-off. Okay. If I had that automatically add, and I did file bar, that would have been file bar and drop-off again. Okay, does that make sense? So because I went in at that level of file bar, it'll start at that level with the associated parts. Okay, so wherever you start in that process. So if you guys have, if you were only doing file bars, and you needed to do a drop-off, that would be how you would do that if you didn't have any of these other items, right? So let me just delete these, do a file bar. Okay, I'm going to bring up my associated parts, and I can add that right there. Okay, is that easier than what you guys are doing now with the catalog?
Yes.
Yeah. Are there things that you guys can think about right now that that we could actually set up and we can try out besides what we've already done?
Associated with crate specifically?
With anything else?
Or anything.
You know,
I mean, I prefer
else.
actually, if you do have other things with crates, I'd like to get those done. But other things too, so you guys can see it work other than.
Well, like with crates, I'd also add labels and zip ties.
Okay. So I'm going to go back here. Yeah,
Computer bags?
So crates, I'm going to add labels. And labels, I'm assuming, are already in here, right?
Should be.
Okay. So labels. Is it an option, or is it something that that should be added all the time?
No, it would be an option that we'd want to not auto-populate.
And not auto-calculate either? Would
Correct.
it be based off of something else, or would it be like one per crate, or?
It doesn't know because there's other things that they'll tag. So if I have 100 crates sometimes I have 500 labels.
Okay. So it'd be a manual entry.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the other thing you said?
Zip tie. Is that how we have it in there?
Was that tie?
Zip.
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 Remember that I only heard tie, so that's all I typed in, and it pulls it up. So you don't actually have to know the whole part number anymore. So, yeah, and is that optional as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything associated with the labels or zip ties that would, if I add those, would pop up as an association?
Not with those specifically.
Okay. And how about with file bars?
Not with file bars.
Okay. How about with dolly?
You want to add the computer bag?
I think so.
A computer bag?
Okay. So I'm going to double click on dolly, and I'm going to go to associated bars.
Associated with crates.
It's associated with crates, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. And so that was,
I think so.
I'm sorry, that was a bag?
Computer
bag,
bag.
you said?
It may not be in there yet.
It's okay. It's easy enough to add. We can add it right now. You said computer bag, right?
Yep.
I know you guys all type as fast as I do, though. And what would that be? Equipment?
Material.
Material.
Okay.
Each.
Each?
Yeah.
And do you have a cost for it that you want to associate with the job?
If I have
How much do you charge your customer?
cost.
For what?
A computer bag.
$1.
That's a cost.
Oh, I
How
didn't.
about, how about the price to the customer?
Charge $1 bag. So it's $1.50 bag. Sometimes.
How about the charge to the customer?
What do we charge a customer? I don't know what that, just put $1 and I don't know what it is.
Okay. And do you have an estimate on your cost, or
I didn't hear you.
do you have an estimate of what it costs you?
I don't know off the top of my head now.
Okay. Let's just say, what would you say, make like a 30%?
Sure.
Okay. That would be 70 cents. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay. And then I'm just going to look it up real quick. And I'm going to drag and drop it right in. Is that calculated off of anything? Is it one per, or?
No, it's not.
Remember that calculating it doesn't mean we have to automatically add it. If we add it, we can have it calculate based on another part. So.
It's still not going to be.
Okay. Okay. You guys want to see this work now?
Sure.
So remember that it's going to be certain things are going to add automatically, certain things are going to be options. Okay, so we're going to just add a crate. Okay, so now I've got all of these different options. And by tomorrow, this will actually say calculating, non-calculating. I'll make sure that it's taken care of. Anyway, I can add any of these. Remember, this one's going to calculate itself. And like I said, this will say auto-calculate. And then this one we would add manually, 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 manually. And again, if any of these were associated with any other parts, then when I add any of these parts, they would pop up another associated part. So what this was designed to do for you guys was basically the auto calculations, but also to make sure you don't miss anything that could be that you would want to put on there, and it's relative. So when I add this, I should also offer this, or I should also add that. So let's say there's 50 zip ties.
A drop off and pickup, I'm saying a truck is associated with each one of those.
It's already included.
It's included in the price.
Yeah. A truck would be associated with the labor.
Okay. So did you want to have truck in there anyway, because you're going to use a truck, right? So you're going to
no, a truck would be associated with labor. The drop off and pickup is already accounting for truck.
Okay. So just straight labor, if we were just doing straight labor without any crates, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, if you did labor, an associated part with labor would be trucks.
Okay. So I'm going to double click on labor, and I'm going to go to associated parts, and I'm going to look up truck. Okay. And just would I have both of these just in case as options?
You could have number 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
About 5, Scott. I don't even know what those are.
One's a warehouse function.
It looks like actually these are. It looks like these are already associated. Somebody's been busy behind my back.
Well, I think we did that the other day.
Oh, okay. I don't remember doing it. I thought you maybe got ambitious. All right, so these are already done. Okay, so if you're doing labor, okay. So labor is labor by the hour. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do 30 hours of labor. Are any of these auto-calculating? Do you remember?
No, not.
Okay.
Because
so they're all.
Yeah.
They're all just options. Okay. So if you need a medium truck, is this a so is truck medium just for one day? Is that what that's for?
I think we probably need to reevaluate how we put these in, because these were put in as auto parts.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we're doing this, we may look at it differently.
Right. That's exactly what I wanted today to be. I want you guys to look at things differently, because auto parts are very limited. They're specific. They're set in stone, whereas these are dynamic and can work any way you want. What I would do is I would think about all the parts that you might need that maybe you don't have in the system yet. And if you guys just put them into Excel, we only need like a couple of columns here. It's really simple. And I'll just put the columns here. Okay, so description. If you wanted weight, it's not required. A list price, a discount off of list. Okay, which is basically the percentage off to get your cost. If you wanted to put a cost, and we can figure out what the discount is, that's fine. Unit of measure, and vendor. And that would take care of us. And if you put those things in, we can import them in a matter of seconds, and then you guys can have them. So this is where, when you guys do decide to get more with doing the typicals, then you can build a spreadsheet like this. We can import them, and it becomes a lot easier. Because even though it's not hard to add a new part and e-manage, it's much easier to put it in a few columns here. Like I said, we don't actually have to have weight. So, and unit of measure, we could actually just default that if it was in each. So this can be very, very simple for you guys. Okay. So anything that you guys think you don't have that you could use, and even if you're not associating it, you just maybe want to have it, that's the best way to do it, is to put it in Excel. You can hand it over to us, or we can work with you guys, import as really, really simple. I'm just going to save this on here so you guys have a manage part template. Okay, like so the most thing is that I want
try to import that, it'll import right to be managed.
Yeah, in fact, it's real simple. Right here, we have an import.
Right. Got
So, and it's just a matter of mapping. So, part number, description, unit measure, we can type in each or whatever. If there's weight, we can type in 0 if there is no weight. There's a mapping for the list price, discount percent, and then vendor parts category prospect. So this is everything else is not
this is what imports to be map fields of this. So in other words, I'd use that spreadsheet and then just map it here.
Yep. So we have Excel, access text. You just do this. You browse to the Excel file, load the data, highlight, map, import. Really simple. These are the things that are required for us, though: vendor, parts category, product type. Okay. And the reason if it's all Wegman, you don't even have to put the vendor in the spreadsheet. If it's all going to be Wegman, you just choose Wegman from your list because this is your list of EMANS vendors. So literally, it's part number, description, unit of measure, weight if you want it. A list price is required. Okay. Discount is to get to the estimated cost. And then these are e-managed lists. So, and then begin import. So yeah, it gets really simple that way. It's much easier than hitting new part, save, new part, save, right? So, and you just need a lot less information. Okay. So, anything else that you guys can think of that we could set up an association? These are live right now, by the way. If I create a brand new project, or even if I go into this job right here, and I go into the BOM, okay, and if I make a new option, okay, make a new option, no matter how I add those parts, okay. So if I just go, I go here, and I can do create, or I can use the catalog, however else you want to add it, but this works the exact same way. Okay, adds my automatic ones, recalculates everything, and brings up my associated parts. Okay, even if you add it from your catalog. So if you're using that catalog and you just go find traits and add them, it's going to do all of this other stuff for you. Okay. Does that give you guys any inspiration or any ideas of what you guys can do with that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because the catalog, it's still, you got to go and search through it and add that stuff. Whereas if it's associated, somebody's decided that those things are associated and they should go together. Some of our other customers are using it to make sure that people offer upsell things. So, if you have some sort of premium labor as opposed to regular labor, that kind of stuff, or options that maybe your customer doesn't think of and maybe you don't remember to offer, those things can be associated parts, and it's a checklist of things that you want to go through and make sure that you offer to your customer. Okay. Again, all of that stuff is going to be available on your web portal, and we're really trying to get it out this week. Where you'll just build a quote right on your phone or your iPad, and you'll build it in the exact same way. You'll add a part, it'll pop up with the associated parts. You'll choose those. If those have any associated parts, those will add as well. And you'll basically do this whole quick quote window inside of your mobile device. Okay. That's the importance of being able to get these associated parts accurate, right? And being able to do like the typicals and stuff, because then you're right there. You're on site. You're looking at what you're going to be doing, and being able to get an accurate quote right there on site. It does a couple things. It makes your customer think highly of you because, hey, you got a mobile device doing this right on the fly, right? That goes straight into the system, so you can have somebody else working on it before you even leave the customer site. And you can spit out a quote right for them right there and email it to them as a PDF. So, all right, any questions about associated parts?
I think we'll
I don't want you
walk
guys,
away with that conversation.
what I really want you guys to think about is if you're not sure you want to use that, and you're thinking about a few different things, we're always here to help you get those set up. Okay? And you can tell I understand this. So if you guys have a thought of how to use them but you're not sure, just give us a call. And we'll help you through that. You're not abandoned, you're not deserted. We're here to help you do that. Okay? And especially like a spreadsheet. If you guys need help doing that, building the spreadsheet or importing it, let us know, because that's what we're here for. Okay, all that's clear. So I really quickly want to go through the process once you book an order. Okay, so booking an order, right? If you look at this menu, by the way, this is the order that your business goes in. Okay, maybe you skip some of these things, but this is really the order the business goes. This is your scope of work. You're either going to do a time and materials budget or a bill of materials fixed price quote. The customer comes back and says, yeah, I want to do it. Okay, that's an order. And then you're either going to take from inventory or you're going to create purchase orders. Now, I know you guys in the past haven't really had to do purchase orders because much of your stuff doesn't come from outside. It's stuff that you guys do internally. However, you guys are starting to do job costing. Okay? So this step right here is really, really important that somebody does. And that's kind of why we wanted to talk to everybody. And I want to show it off for, first of all, how it works and how simple it is. But we also want to figure out who's the best person or people to be doing this function. Okay? So let's see if purchase orders were already created on this. Okay, you can tell that there was nothing, the purchase orders weren't created on this because it's got this little plus sign next to it. So all you're going to do here, if it's all Wegman stuff, it's a panel cleaning. I don't assume that there's going to be any outside vendor stuff. So you can have it shipped to Wegman Company. It doesn't matter because it's not really going to ship anywhere. Okay, we can just simply click on Generate POs. And that will take us to the purchase orders window. Okay. So it's based on your quote. So whatever your quote was, it's going to cover purchase orders here, based on that. Okay. Now I just added an option for you guys, and I checked it for you for this window, so that you can say, and this is for your whole company, so it's in the section where people can get to, but there's automatically adjust the actual cost of purchase orders as I change the quantity and or cost piece. Okay, and it's already checked for you. I already took care of it this morning for you. But what happens is, if I actually go and change the quantity in here, say we use 5 of those, okay, it's going to actually update my actual total for me. Your actual total here becomes your job cost, becomes your actual cost of doing that job. Okay, so if this value is different, you're just going to put in what that difference is. So I'm not sure who in your company should be doing that. I don't think it's something you guys have ever done before. Are there any thoughts on that? Who actually knows? Who actually knows what the actual values are from the job being done?
I don't think that one's completed yet.
Okay, And how does he know?
Huh?
And how does he know what was used?
I got the van back from the work order, the amount of time that it was gone.
Okay. And also if there were more crates used, more dollies used, all that stuff, right?
Sometimes. Different people know different things. We're trying to figure out who's going to know everything.
Okay. Are there pieces of paper that come back from the field, or?
As of right now, we are using pieces of paper, but they don't always have all the.
And it's not really feasible that your guys that are out there would be able to fill something out on a mobile device, or?
The web portal doesn't work on Android phones.
Yes, sir. Sure it does. Totally does. I have an Android phone. I use it all the time. But
on mine, I can't press the button. It doesn't work.
Okay. What phone do you have?
Motorola HD Max.
HTC Max? Oh,
The HD Max, Razer HD Max.
okay. How old is it? What Android is it running?
It's got the newest version of Android operating system.
Okay. What button do you press? That's not working.
Any of the buttons on your web portal?
Really? The login button?
That works, but I'm talking about the top menu buttons.
Okay.
I mean, I even showed Scott when you try to expand it, the button won't push, nothing works.
Huh. That's interesting. There might be a setting on your phone. I'll do a little research and see if I can't find anything about the Motorola. It's a Max.
Motorola
HD Max.
Razer HD Max. Yep.
Okay. Razer HD Max. I'll take a look.
And the ones that are in the field are the Motorola Razer M's.
Okay. Razer M's. Have you
Yep.
tried it on those?
I tried on mine's the upgraded version of that phone.
Okay.
They've got the lower end version.
And it's when you try and click any button on that portal.
Any button
Did
on
you
the top menu bar.
And did you actually log in first?
I did.
Okay. Let me just, Rick, do you know the app? Is Rick with you guys?
It's access.wegman company. As soon as you start putting it in there, it should come up. Yeah, it's that where it's got the port number.
Yep.
I'll go get my phone.
I'd actually just like to try this here and have you log in and to see if there's something that's going on with the rights or something like that.
He just wants
You know,
to
our updated portal is coming out. So
right.
if you can just go ahead and log in there with your regular username and password from email.
Yeah, he just walked away. He'll be back in a second.
Okay. So our new portal is much nicer and easier to use, I think. Just preview that while we're here. Because you wanted to talk about adding pictures while you're out in the field, right?
Correct.
Okay. So what I'm going to show you is very, very, very similar to what you guys are going to get.
Right. Hey, where'd Jake go?
Rick's back with his phone.
Okay. Okay. Actually, I want to try it
Can you
on.
log in?
I want to try it on here first and see if there's any issues that might be related to your username instead of. Oh, was that Rick I was talking to? I didn't even know.
Yeah, he's logging in now.
Oh. This means. So this doesn't pop up when you move your mouse over or when you click on it. Nothing pops up.
It shows. No, nothing shows. I'm getting ready to go there now on my phone.
Okay. And when you first log in, you should see this tree. And you know, our new website, we're using all brand new stuff. So after you try that, and if it doesn't work, I'm actually going to have you try going to ours with the new controls and see if that works.
Are you waiting on us, Philip?
Yeah, is Rick trying it on his phone?
Yeah, I can't press any of the buttons, and if I try to expand it, then the menu disappears. Like I can't, it doesn't scroll.
Oh, try double tapping it.
I just cannot use it on this phone. Here, I'll pass it around and take a look at it.
So try double tapping where the toolbar is. When you double tap it, to zoom in while you use it.
Left.
Okay. Do me a favor.
Action on the left.
Do me a favor on your phone. Go to this address here. And let me know when you get to this page. And that's a colon in there. Is it coming up?
I'm waiting for it to refresh.
Okay. When you get to the username and password, you're just going to type in user2 and user2. Username and password will both be user2. And I'm going to go ahead and log in here, admin. Did it come up yet?
It gave me internet information service because I didn't have PC as the backslash. Now I'm waiting for it to come back up.
Okay.
That's not ours.
No,
No.
they don't have it. It can be ours.
I just can't see. Yeah, I understand.
So when you guys actually come into this, on whatever device you're using, you're going to see, obviously, your sales lead funnel.
Okay, you said log in as what?
User2, no spaces, just user2 and user2 for the username and password. And let's just see, I want to see if the menus will come up and stay up, because this is a whole brand new set of controls that we're using. Is it labeled login?
Yeah, those actually, I can actually click on those.
Okay, and go ahead and just go to search, go to the search menu and go to like job history map.
Right.
And make sure that that actually goes to where we're expecting it to go.
And go to what?
Go to job history search.
Search is the bottom tab under.
Yeah,
Search
so
job
good
history.
map.
search and to the very bottom.
Job
On my On my Android phone, when I click on the thing, it sort of zooms in, so I can click it and then it zooms back out.
Did that come up?
It's going up. Yeah, on this one, on this interface that you have on this one, I can actually click on the buttons. On the one that we have on our server, I can't.
Okay. Well, this is coming up later this week, so you guys will have this shortly.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just go back to home here real quick and just show you guys a little bit about this. So you're going to, when you're a salesperson, you log in, you only see your own data. If you manage other people, you're going to see everybody you manage, all of their data piled together. So there's sales by company type this year so far. This is year to date. This is also year to date by month. Okay, but where it gets really cool, you guys, is when you're doing portfolios. Okay, so what happens is, as you're doing your job, you can log into the portal and you can take pictures. And you're basically going to go to the project and you're going to add gallery pictures as you go along. Now, these gallery pictures can be progress. I think, Rick, Scott, you were asking about doing progress reports for your customers, right?
Correct.
So basically, as long as you have a job booked and you're taking pictures, you can absolutely do a progress report with pictures every day. And honestly, you guys are, basically you'd be considered construction in a way. So it's important that you keep that in case somebody comes back and says, oh, you broke something, or, you know what I mean? You've got all these pictures to just prove what everything will look like on a certain day or whatever. So, but anyway, what you see here.
Is that history only stored here, or is that something that I can actually send to the customer? I think that was one of my questions.
Yes, you can absolutely send it to the customer, and I'll show you how in a second. But this is your recently completed portfolio item. So all you have to do to make this happen is set the order as complete, okay? So by completing the order, you're actually, and giving it a complete on date, you're actually telling it which ones are the recent ones, okay? So this is in order, the newest to the oldest, and this is the last 10 completed, okay? So if I go into one of these, just go into this one, it takes me into the portfolio, okay? And if I added a description to this, it would show me the description and all the images that I can flip through with a new potential customer, okay? So if I'm with a potential customer and I want to show up what we've done, I can actually do a search on certain types of things as well. So you'll see here it'll have all the stuff, and then I can print. And this is exactly what the thing looks like where you would do your progress one. But I can do the print as item, okay? And that'll basically do a crystal report of the item. And I can then email it from my phone or my iPad or whatever other device I'm using. Okay, so
is this version still the one where, like, the supervisor is taking pictures out in the field?
Yes.
And it has to come back into eManage to be able to put that text in?
No. No. What you do is you'd actually pull up a job. Okay, so if I go, let's say, my backlog, okay, or you can search for a project. You can go to search and find projects, and find it by project number or customer or address or anything that you want to find it by. I'm just going to go to the backlog here so I can show you. Sorry, my backlog's pretty big here. Plus I manage everybody, so I see everything. But what you're going to do is you're going to find the project, and there's a button on the little toolbar inside the project that says Add a Gallery In. And you literally click the button, and you take a picture, and you give it a name, and you save it. And that's instantly in the database. Okay, so let's finish up here.
You said the description has to be done later.
I'm going to let him say that. Yeah.
The description of the project itself, needs to be again.
No, the description of like a photograph.
Yeah, no, we use the name as the description. So you'll want to name it, and that's what we do when you add a gallery image. Is basically to put the name of the image. So it'll already have the date because you're adding this image, and everything you add the image has the date. But let's see if I can just trick this and go faster.
Yeah, it would just
Conference room install.
right. Or a conference.
So yeah, so you won't need the date really, but you will need a name that distinguishes it from the rest. So you see this, there's an add main picture and there's an add gallery image. So when you click on add gallery image, I think it's going to do a pop-up here. Block my pop-up. Okay, let's try it from here. Here, if I go to search project and I pull up a project here, then I'm going to Loretta. So if I'm doing it from here, I can just find the project, click on it, and then I can add a gallery picture right from here, not even have to go into the project. Okay, so I choose the file. When I do this from my phone, it says, do you want to take a picture or do you want to browse for a picture? And then you give it a friendly name and you upload. So when you're on a mobile device, a phone, an iPad, whatever, it's going to say, take a picture or browse to a file. Okay. When you're on iPad, I think it's take a picture or use the gallery. So you just choose your file. Okay. In your case, it would be taking a picture, and then you would give the friendly name and upload. And that instantly becomes part of your gallery for your portfolio and something that you can then print out. Okay. Does that make sense? So again, you'll name whatever you name it here is how it's going to show up on your portfolio. Now your portfolio isn't just for finished items; it's for your stuff that's in process. So you can go here, search portfolio, and you can pull up anything you want to pull up. I'll just pull up has main picture and search all orders. Okay, and that's going to pull up all the things I can see, anything that matches my criteria. Okay, and then I can go into it, and then I can print, and I can email it right there from my phone or iPad and send it to my customer right here. Okay, and I think you'll see here there's two pictures on here. So one's going to be the main picture, and then you see it says gated pool before. So each picture is going to be named whatever you named it, except for the main picture. The main picture is going to be the main picture. Okay. Any questions about that?
No.
It's pretty cool. You're going to be able to do a lot of stuff with this. But one of the really cool things here, too, is that you can do, if you're a salesperson and you're out with a potential customer, you can actually go and do stuff like the job history map. Okay, and actually, I'm going to go ahead and change my, I'm going to change the location here so that you guys can see what this looks like. So you can basically, if your phone's not recognizing where you're at, you can literally type in any address, and I'm just going to type in the city here, okay, and set the location. And then I'm going to go to my job history. Okay, and what's cool about this is I can say, show me everything we've done within a certain radius. And this is for pool companies. They have finished type and color, but you guys can say either by salesperson, you'll be able to do by order type, project type, stuff like that. So I'm going to just load 10 miles. Well, let me do 5 miles. I'll load too much. And this will show you on the map where your other jobs are. Okay. And if you move your mouse over them, if they have a picture, it'll have a picture of it, and it'll give you all the information about that job, including a phone number, what it's sold for, okay, salesperson, stuff like that. If you zoom out, you'll see more dots. Okay. But the best way to get and if you, like I said, if there's a main picture on any of these, the main picture will show instead of the location. So it'll be actually a picture of the job. The main picture of that job will show instead of this little pointer here. Okay. If I expand out like 50 miles, I can do that too, and it'll pull up a lot more. So unfortunately, it doesn't let us click. Yeah, actually, we probably could make it so you could click on it and go into the project. We'll have to do a little security checking because we don't want people going into each other's projects necessarily without the rights. So, but we should be able to make it to where inside of that balloon, there'd be a link to go to the project. So your alerts are here, your open leads, any alerts you have, phone messages, your follow-ups are in the view menu. You can literally look at your implementation calendar as a grid or on the calendar here. This will be opportunities for you. So this will be all your non-booked, like all of your current opportunities, just like it is in software. Didn't like doing 50 miles. Or is it still going? Still going. Yeah, so you guys can see here, there's quite a bit more in here now that I went up 50 miles. Yeah, quite a bit more. Okay, so it's a pretty cool tool, and like I said, if it's not picking up, it should actually pick up where you are based on your phone. But sometimes phones, will go like as much as 10, 15 miles off. So you can go here and set a different location, and you can literally put in the address where you're at. Okay. There's also the implementation map. So if you go here to installation map, it's going to show you your things scheduled for today and your things scheduled for this week. So you literally could see on the map every job you've got going on today, this week. I believe that salespeople only see their own jobs. Let's see if there's anything going on. Zoom out here. You can do satellite. As you see, there's a couple jobs going on there. If I zoom out on the week, I see a lot more here. Yeah. Okay. So again, all this stuff.
And this comes out this week?
Yeah. Yeah, really it's exactly the same except for the fact that you're going to be able to do more on the project side. This is for pool companies, and they don't do too much. They actually build their contracts online and never hit e-manage, and still it becomes a contract. So this, like I said, will be your current opportunity. And then you'll do, this will be like quick quote, new quick quote. But you'll be able to go all over in the project. So if you want to be able to edit a bill of materials, you'll be able to do that. If you want to be able to print a quote, you'll be able to do that. If you want to book an order, if you have the rights, you'll be able to do that. Okay. Let me just show you what basically the quick quote's going to look like. It's going to look very similar to this to the full quote window. So pretty cool. You can add a main picture right on the window. And again, like I was talking about with the associated parts, I'll actually show you how that works here. So You have your project information stuff. They have parts and pricing. Okay, so this is kind of like your in the quick quote at the bottom of the window. And they have the catalog. Okay, so I'm going to add items. Click it.
So I think when we were talking the other day, Philip, you used the pool, and the pool is an example for the sales group. The associated parts, they included associated parts for upsell.
Yep, I'm going to show you.
Meaning that.
Go ahead.
Well, you were giving me the example that they added associated parts for upselling, just ancillary things that they wouldn't have otherwise potentially remembered to ask.
That's correct. And in fact, what we also did with the portal is in the when you're browsing through your parts, we added a picture, because with a pool company, you know, they have all these different colors of tile and different colors of plaster and finishes. So, but it's going to be available for you too. So if in the part, remember in the parts you can set a small picture. So it's going to use this small picture. So if you want to put pictures of stuff that's relevant, if you set this, it's going to show up when you're searching for parts. You can actually show it off. Okay. So anyway, yeah. If I go here and I just choose this demo part, it's got associated parts with it. We got to unblock the pop-up here. Okay, so this has associated parts with it. So I'm going to go ahead and okay. So you see it has associated parts with it. So it pops up a window with those choices. You say, I want to add that, or you can select all by checking the box at the top, and you say how you want to add it. Again, if it's auto-calculate, it's going to auto-calculate. If it's an optional add and then calculate, it's going to do that just like it does in software, just like I showed you earlier. Okay, so add items to quantity. Those parts gray out, you see, so I can't add them again. So once you've added a part, it doesn't want you to add the same thing again. Okay. And then I just close that. I go back to order, and it's going to be all there. But this grid is very similar. I can click in. Things, edit it right here. There's a Save Changes button here. So I can change the description. Okay, I can change the quantity unless it's an auto-calculating part. I can delete the item. I can put it in whatever order I want to do. Okay, and it's got my totals down here at the bottom. And then I can, of course, you'll be able to print the quote. So in here, it's really simple. They have a quote here. Okay, so if I go to print quote, this will be very similar. I'm going to pop up my quote window. I give a little more information, make sure everything's right. We've got report alternatives. So if you guys have made your own crystal report, you can set the alternative and actually use it in here. And then print the quote. You actually probably won't have this extra window here, but you can see it'll print out the quote right there. If you're on your phone, you can email it right. You'll just, if you're on a iPad or your phone, you can hit print and it'll export as a PDF, and you can email it straight from the PDF application. So you guys also know that the portfolio is also available inside of eManage. So it's not just on the web portal. You can go in here, and it's always available to you on your Today screen. So Today, View Portfolio. Okay. And it's got the same search as you saw on the web, where you can choose your different criteria. You can see that you have market type, company type, project type. But if you just go, if you just did that, has main picture, and then it would show you anything that you have a main picture on that is booked as an order. Okay. It'll show you the picture, the project number, the project name, and then you can go and actually print that right from here. Okay. And like I said, it takes nothing to do this. If you look at the order entry, if you want to add a description, you go straight to the order entry, and you can double-click on the order, and that actually lets you do the rating and any notes about the sales, install, overall rating. You can set the rating here and give it a description.
What's the rating?
I'm sorry?
What's the rating?
So you can keep track of what your customer thinks about, sales, overall, installation. So you can pull up from your portfolio only people that gave you high ratings on certain things, or maybe you want to look at your portfolio and see low ratings and see what you're doing wrong. And these are places for comments about sales, about installation, based on whatever you chose as the rating. This is your description, and it's format. So you can format it bold, red, anything you guys want to do. It's formatted text.
Can this go out to the customer so they can fill it out in any way?
Not yet. Not yet, but we do have surveys on the web portal, and we are planning on actually making that happen where the customer can fill it out.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, the most important thing is getting new business, and I can get that easier if my customers fill out surveys and let me know how I'm doing, or I can show off the surveys. Right? If we do really well at times, then it's ultimately important to be able to show that off. So.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So again, like I said, what I would say for you guys to think about, remember that there's these things called action items, okay? And there are functions in here that you guys have never done before that you want to start doing because you do want to start doing job costing and stuff like that. So these action items are based on the project type that you chose. So this is your workflow. So if different project types have different workflow, that can be set up, and all you guys have to do is, if you want to write it down on a piece of paper, what your workflow is and who you think is gonna be responsible for those things, you can share that with us, and we will help you set that stuff up. Okay, but I don't know enough about who's there or who actually knows the information to get this done. But if you guys write it down and you guys want to go through it together, and I mean, I have 14, 15 years of experience doing this, so I can go through it with you and say, that's, a good idea, or that's not such a good idea. But each of these things can have prerequisites as well. So the prerequisites are a checklist for the person submitting the action item. Here's what you should have looked at before submitting. You see that my submit button is grayed out until I check everything off. Then it's ungraded. So you want to make sure and think about, what do I want the person submitting this action item to have already done? Okay. What else is super cool about this is that I can actually attach documents right here, and they attach to the project, and they associate with the action item. So the person that's responsible for working on the action item, okay, can actually, can I just grab one of these pictures? Oh yeah, I'll put it on that. You just drag and drop it in here. It associates it with the project, and then when the person opens it up to check it out, they don't have to go looking for that document. It's already there for them right when they open up the action. So if you guys have a lot of documents, they would have to go into history and documents and find the one that you're talking about. This way, you're just attaching and associating at the same time. And just to prove that, I'm going to just go over here and go to Documents. Inside this project, and you'll see that document is attached. Here it is right here. And I don't know if you guys read the release notes or saw my email, but we now have a preview, a document preview. So if you click, you're actually going to see the preview of document works for Word documents, Excel documents, PDF. So if I click on the PDF here, I'm going to get the invoice. So you don't have to actually open the file to see if it's what you want it to look.
Could you go back to that the portal?
Yep.
Or did you already log out? When we were talking the other day, we were talking about that marketing packet that I could save here. You remember that?
That's on the I was talking about the My Company document. And actually, that's not on the full. That's not on this full portal, but it is on the regular portal for you guys. So when you get it later this week, it'll be in the view menu. It'll be called My Company document. And if you've never seen it in eManage, it'll look exactly the same as it does in here. Let me just show that to you. My Company documents are right here. Okay. So My Company documents is like your virtual network drive. Okay, so you can put stuff in here. This is exactly the way to look. It'll have a tree, and then the documents that they can open up straight off of there. And if, of course, if it's a PDF, they can email it straight off of their phone to their device. The one thing is, every single document, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, in eManage that you attach to a project or as a My Company document or anything, has security levels to it. Okay? So when you're set up as a user, you have a document security level that you can't go above. So even if you're the salesperson on a project and you go into the documents and something is marked at medium security level and you only have low security level, you cannot open that document. You cannot use that document in any way. You can't rename it. You can't do anything to it. Okay? So this right here, you want to make sure that in the administrator, the people that need higher than low document security level are set up that way. Okay, and that's in the administrator on each user. There's a low, medium, and high. So if you're at medium, you couldn't open up high, but you could set a document to medium and low and open up documents that are medium and low. Okay. All you do to add documents in here is just you browse down here. So you go to a drive, you go to a folder in here, you find your file, and you can attach multiples, set the document security level, and upload documents, and they'll appear up here. Okay. So any documents, I mean brochures or any kind of marketing material you want to put in here, I put it in. And then people can get to it right from their mobile device and email it off. Okay. The important thing, like I said, to remember about the portfolio is the portfolio is dynamic. So as you're doing work, it's building your portfolio for you. Every time you log in, you're going to see the last 10 things completed that you set are portfolio items. Okay. So like I said, as things finish, they'll go on the top. Okay, and this will cycle through. So you'll have all of your newest stuff always right there in front of your salespeople so they can show it off. And it's pretty impressive when you go out to a customer and you can actually just see this right here.
Right. I'm excited to be able to get that.
There's a lot of benefit for not a lot of work. I promise you guys that. I mean, like I said, with the associated parts, it's not real hard to set up, but if you guys think about what you want to do, we'll absolutely be happy to help you set it up. If you, the portfolio stuff, really, really simple. Like I said, you go into the order entry. The important thing is this right here, completed on and complete, right here. And also that it is a portfolio item. Okay. So is portfolio item tells it to be able to be searched so that you can show it off, and you can check it down here too. So check, completed. Okay. The completed on, just make sure that it goes into this section down here.
It's pretty easy. That's during the booking process when I send a action item. I'm used to that screen. When I ask for a action from ops, that screen, I have to go through that screen. And then at that point, I just remember to check portfolio.
Yeah, and actually what we're thinking about doing, I'm not sure if you guys, what we're thinking about doing is actually attaching whether things are portfolio items to the order type. Okay, because
it seems to be a little premature or not meant to be with booking an order.
well, I mean, it's going to, by order type, it would determine whether this is checked automatically or not. So you might have different order types because if you have a repair or a punch list, you wouldn't necessarily want that to be a portfolio item. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're thinking about attaching it by order type so that when you change the order type when you're booking an order, it would automatically check whether it's a portfolio item or not. Yeah. So remember, it's multiple orders per project. Each order has its own description. So you may do, 5 orders on one project, and you only want one of them to be a portfolio. So you add a description to the one portfolio and turn it on the portfolio item. Okay. If you guys do want to add stuff to the software, like it's not a bad idea to go backwards and start from your the newest finished jobs that you've done, and just throw them in the software. Put a basic project scope in, throw together a $1 quote even, and then get them in here as history. And you can attach your portfolio items or your gallery pictures right here. Add a gallery image. So if you've got pictures of your jobs, you can go right here, add gallery image, give it a name, browse, apply. Give it a name, browse, apply. And you can keep adding those gallery pictures. It resizes them to, if they're huge pictures from an 8 megapixel camera, it will downsize them and put them in a manageable size to be able to print them out and not take an hour to download. Okay. So you guys can do all that from software. The main picture is right here. So if you browse and apply, that's the main picture. And remember, that's what shows up on your job history map. And the job history map is also in the software. So if I go here to the job history map, everything that I have done is going to show up. Okay, and you can do it by address. So if you're out with a customer and you want to load everything within a certain amount of miles of a certain address, you can type an address in here, it just defaults to where you're at. But I could say 20 miles out and load. Okay. So there we go. And what it does when you do the job history map in eManage is you're the blue location. So let me get scrolled over here. You're the blue thing here, and there's actually, sorry, it's moving really slow here. There's actually a route drawn between your location and every other, or everything that's listed. So it's kind of cool. Then there's you right here. So this is your starting location. And when you move your mouse over these jobs, it'll actually tell you what they are. Okay. One other thing I just wanted to ask you guys, I did go in earlier to make sure stuff was working, that new thing, and I went into your backlog, and it's pretty full. Yeah, you guys think there's a lot of jobs in there?
Yeah.
Are these jobs still in process, or are they ready for invoicing? Because the backlog is a tool for you to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks for invoicing. Right? So in order from the oldest book date to the newest so that you guys can always watch and make sure why didn't I, oh, it's not by order book date. You can sort it by order book date and then save your layout. But so 4.9, you probably finished that already, right? So that it stays on the backlog until it's fully invoiced, until it's 100% invoiced. So everything on here is something that has not been fully invoiced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a way for you guys to keep an eye on, keep an eye on what, why things are stopping, where are things stopping, right?
Well, I think what happened, now that we're looking at some of these older ones, we were doing the quote and everything in eManage, but doing the invoicing because we didn't have QuickBooks set up out of our old system because that was already gone into Peachtree.
Okay. So,
So we'll need to figure out how we'll
Clean this up.
how to clean this up at some point.
yeah, so really the only way to get it off of here is to invoice it. It's absolute. So, I mean, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is go here to customer invoices or customer invoicing, make a new invoice. The default is for 100% of the balance. So new invoice is 100% of the balance. You give the billing type, so final, and you save and close. And that'll be gone from your backlog. Okay?
Then doesn't it go into QuickBooks and then become
Well,
unpaid?
if you uncheck this box right here, show as QB receivable, then it's just logging it in software. It won't flow over to QuickBooks. So for your historical stuff, you'll want to uncheck this if it's already been accounted for. Save invoice and close. Is this job done?
I don't know about that one specifically.
Okay. So I won't do it.
No, 13.25.
13,125.
Business description. We
But
can
you know what to do.
I know what to do. Yes.
Okay.
We can work with that.
Okay.
We'll get
I don't
those
want to
up
say
there.
this just in case, but once you've invoiced 100%, it drops off the backlog. Nothing comes off the backlog without being 100% invoiced. Okay. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a pretty important tool to to make sure nothing's falling through the cracks.
And then this would only be specific to the person that's logged in, right? They would only see
That's
theirs.
correct. So if you're a salesperson, you only see your own backlog. If you are a manager of other salespeople, then you'll see everybody that you manage. There is a caveat to that. There's a caveat to that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
If you cancel a project, will it go away on the book on the backlog?
Yes, it will.
Okay, even if. Okay.
Yes.
So we have a couple test ones up there. I wanted to ask that before. Okay.
Yep. You just right-click and cancel it. It's going to ask you for a reason for the cancellation. You can just say it was a test project. Just right-click, and you can highlight multiple items too. So for a bunch of them, you can highlight using the Control key. You can highlight things that are not next to each other. Right-click. Go to Actions. Make sure that when you right-click, you're right-clicking on one of the selected rows, and you go to Actions and cancel this project. And it'll cycle through and ask you for a reason for each one of those. But you can just test project, test project, test project, and then they'll all go away from the backlog when you open it again.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to clean that up so everybody starts fresh.
Right, and we don't want this to be junk either, because if people can believe in it, they're gonna. This is their Bible right here. Between this and
People have been asking about it.
All right, cool.
Right.
One of the things that that we were talking to another customer about that I think you guys might be interested in. Do you guys do a lot of repeat business? Do you have a lot of good relationships with your people?
Yes.
With your customers?
Absolutely.
One of the things that's really cool about eManage is this leads, and I noticed that you have 0. Leads aren't always about projects, okay? Leads are about touching your customers, okay? So who's one of the customers that you guys have that you'd like to call and maybe take out for lunch, and really keep that relationship going by communicating with them? Do you have somebody in mind?
Western Southern.
How about a person there that you actually call and take out the lunch?
Oh, Jim Habig.
Can you spell that?
Habig.
Habig. Yeah. So here's what one of our customers did this about 8 years ago, and it blew my mind because, you know, when I first was doing eManage, I wrote the sales leads to be about opportunities and, you know, before you have scope of work. But they took it and they said, you know what, I want to touch this guy every 30 days in some way. I want to think about the lunch. I want to schedule, you know, going out for cocktails, whatever it is. So what they did is they took and made a lead out of it. Okay? So they created a lead record, and they said, whatever, you can put whatever you want here. But the salesperson, who's responsible for Jim?
Put it as me. Scott.
Who's me? Scott, okay. You all sound alike to me. Okay. So what you do here is you say, you know, what do you like to do with them? You like to invite them to lunch once a month?
Lunch, yes.
Okay. Make lunch a point. Now, here's what they did. They said they kept their leads, right? And in the administrator, you can set how long it is between the last activity and today before it gets a little fire icon to it. And whenever they looked at their leads and it had a fire icon to the person, say that fire icon would show up right here, that meant, oh, it's time to touch that person again. And then you never actually create a project on that person. You leave them as a lead. And every time you see, you know, you've got a bunch of people in here that you're keeping those relationships with. As soon as you see the red thing, you give them a call. You say, hey, let's get some lunch, or let's have a cocktail. Or even with your accounts payable or your accounts receivable people, right? So your accounts receivable people should have all of their accounts payable customers in there and just check in and say, hey, how's it going? You know, I mean, we build that relationship, because the people that you're going to get paid first are the people that go, oh, you know, I got to pay her because she's always so nice and she's always calling me, and, you know, seeing if everything's okay. But that's what this can be. It's a really neat way to do it because it's about touching that customer, not necessarily about a specific project that might happen.
In that same vein, is there a way of sorting by last activity date?
Sure.
On the job?
On the job? What do you mean?
The job. Last time a job had time, anything charged to it, and it's still sitting in
Yeah, so when we were looking at these, we were trying to figure out when the last time
it was touched.
Yeah, it was touched.
So if a job hasn't been touched for 2 weeks, then we know, hey, it should be filled.
Well, yes, actually, there is a way. So if I go in here, there's actually everything that you guys do in the system is
Do you have to actually touch the job to find out when it's been last touched, or can you give a report that shows last touch date?
Well, we have inside of here, we have everything anyone's ever done.
I realize that, but I'm just saying, is there a way of bringing up a report that says, I want to see every job that hasn't been touched for the last 2 weeks? Does something like that come up?
Well, we could take, what I was getting at is that we could actually take the last date here and add it into the column, right? Because this is the last time somebody touched this was 4/22. What I'm saying is that we could take the top of the last thing that was done and add it into the column through the backlog. I don't have a problem with that. You see what I'm saying? So it would be in this. It would be in this list, and it'd be the last time it was touched. Because eManage logs every single time you go into anything and do anything. So that would be the last time it was touched.
So whether it was touched by a certain person inside or whether it was touched by labor,
That you're going to have to go in and look at the details. All I can give you is what I was just saying, is that I can take the last date it was actually opened up.
Could you can on the labor costs that come in, can we get the dates that the last person worked? The same way that you're talking about right now, because we log our time in and it shows up on this same report. This final profit loss. We haven't done anything for this job, obviously.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Why don't you guys send an email in, and just so we can keep it on our radar. Right at the moment, we're finishing up the portal, and that's got to get done like yesterday. But as soon as we're done with that, we can look at doing that. But yeah, obviously, if we have the data, it's not that hard to get it out and stick it in there. The thing is, you got to. It's only going to be the last, the last thing to be done, because it's a one-to-many join, so we can't put it in one column when there's multiple values. We'll have to pick one value, and that'll be the last thing.
That's what we need anyway. So
cool. All right. So do you guys have a better idea of what you can do and what you might do?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have some takeaways to discuss, and then probably reach back out.
Yeah, and I recorded this video, so I'm going to upload it for you guys. And if you want to review any of it, obviously, like I said, you can pause me then. And we're always here. I mean, well, from 7 to 4. From 7 to 4, we're always here. And like I said, once you guys decide what to do, all you have to do is make a phone call. And if anything, you guys, if you're in the middle of something, you're not sure what you're doing, or you're not sure how to do what you want to do, just give us a call. And individually, just as you have a question, give us a call. We'll help you through that. And the more times we help you through that, the more you're going to know.
Okay.
all
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. I'll send the link off in just about 20, 30 minutes or so for the video.
Great. Thanks.
All right.
Have a great day.
Hey, thanks, you guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.